guys, welcome back to another budgeting video. If you are new here, my name is Lindsay. I'm a full-time working mom, and in these videos I like to share my journey to pay down $26,000 in debt. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, then please subscribe and keep watching. Okay, so today we are going to be working on our August budget. There have been a little bit of changes, so I'm excited to share that with you. So here, my supplies, I've got my calculator, I've got a pen, obviously, and then I have a couple highlighters, which I'll share what those are about in just a second. I also have a blank August calendar that I'm going to write all my bills on. I have this worksheet that I use every single month to show how much my bills are and when they are due, as well as my weekly expenses or my variable expenses. So there's that. And then I also have my worksheet that I made at the beginning of the year to share my 2021 yearly expenses. So every month I know what kind of expenses I'm going to have and what to expect. So first we're gonna go through and use our calendar here, and we are gonna highlight when we get paid. So this month in particular, I am gonna be getting paid on a Saturday and a Sunday. So what's gonna happen is my bank will actually deposit my paycheck on the Friday, and my husband gets paid on Fridays as well. So my husband is enlisted in the National Guard, and he does have drill on the weekend, like one weekend a month, but it's still kind of new, so we don't know exactly how much money he's going to be bringing in, so we are not counting on that money. We also are expected to have the child tax credit deposited, but again, we didn't get it last month, so we don't know if maybe they're putting it in the mail or if we're not qualified or whatever, so we're not counting on that money either, so just keep that in mind. So we are only budgeting for our expected income from our normal everyday jobs. So here I have my bills, or your fixed expenses is what some people call it. So I have my house payment, which is $720. It's due on the 1st. We have a water bill that's about $40. It's due on the 7th. Arvis, so this is something new this month. So if you've watched any more of my budgeting videos, you know about a debt from One Main Financial, and I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail because I've talked about it in every one of my videos. So if you want to know the full story behind that, then please go watch my other videos. But basically, we finally got out from underneath it and we refinanced with our bank. So our payment a month now is going to be $350, and it's due on the 7th. We have our car insurance, $130, due on the 7th. We do have a gym membership. It's $45, due on the 15th. Our electric bill is $225. We are on budget billing, so it's the same every single month, and that's due on the 20th. My Chase credit card, I put all of our subscriptions and my phone bill on that, so that all averages out to $300 a month, and I pay that on the 22nd. And then I do have blood pressure medication that I take every month, and I am self-pay, so it is $40 a month, and it is due on the 22nd. Another thing that is new this month in our budget is our Christmas savings. So I know I've been talking about sinking funds for a while, and honestly, the way things have been with our budget this year, it's just not been doable to do sinking funds. So I do plan to start that up in January when things are a little bit more consistent. But for now, we are just going to be saving for Christmas. So I decided to save $250 a month, and I'll pull that out on the 22nd. Or that's what I have planned, to pull it out on the 22nd, so that I can have enough money for my kids by the time I have it set up where I'll have all my Christmas savings ready by November, and then I can start shopping a month ahead. For our weekly expenses, we've got a babysitter, fuel for our cars, my husband shoes, so we figure that in, and then groceries as well. So there's that. We'll get to that in just a second. So I'm going to use this worksheet here, and I'm going to write all of our bills on the date that they are due. Okay, so there's all of our bills. Also, this month my son has a hair appointment, and so his hair appointment is on the 11th, so I'm going to go ahead and put haircut, and I'm going to budget about $40 for that. Okay, so that is all of our bills. So this is all I'm gonna do on this worksheet. This is just how I know what bills need to come out of certain paychecks. So like I know that this expense is not gonna wait until the 13th. So it's gonna have to come out of the first paycheck. So that's kind of how I do that, just so I can have a visual of everything. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here. Oh, I forgot about my yearly expenses. So here, let's see, for August, we've got back to school. Wow, my pen just broke. Okay. So we've got back to school, which I have already bought everything for back to school. I did that a couple weeks ago with the savings that I put aside for that. And then for August, we have oil changes as well. So we're just gonna keep that in mind when we do our budget. I'm actually gonna write it over here. Okay. So there's that. That's all of our expenses this month. Okay, so now I'm going to reference this sheet. I'm going to put it to the side, but I'm going to be using it as I talk through it. But I'm basically just going to write down all of our paycheck dates. Okay, so now I've written down all of our paycheck dates. So I highlighted when I'm getting paid as well. So I know that these paychecks are gonna be about $13.70, and then these two paychecks are only when my husband gets paid, so they're gonna be about $570. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go through and look at my calendar and see what bills have to be paid on all of these paychecks. Okay, so I did want to mention that I did not factor in an Harvest payment this month, our loan payment, because it's actually not due until September, and we're going to use whatever we have left over to throw back into our emergency savings, because we did have to replace our floor in the laundry room, and so we did have to dig into our emergency fund. So whatever we have left over at the end of the month, we're just going to throw towards our laundry room, or towards our emergency fund. So I did want to mention that. So now that I have all of our bills written down, we are gonna come back over to our weekly expenses. Don't mind my kids, they're playing in their bedroom. So we're gonna come back over to our weekly expenses. So I've got a babysitter, fuel, chew, and groceries. So one thing that is always going to be consistent, I guess two things, is our babysitter and my husband's chew. So no matter what, we are going to have to make that work every single week. So I'm gonna go ahead and write those down. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna work in is our fuel. So I only have to get gas every 2 weeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to plan to get gas on the 6th and the 20th, and that's gonna be the full $80. The other two are just gonna be $40 for my husband, because he does have to get gas every single week. Okay, so there's everything. I'm gonna go ahead and add up everything and just make sure that we are not in trouble in any week. We still have to figure in our house payment and our groceries. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some math here. Okay, so the one thing that I am observing right now is that this paycheck has a lot coming out. So after all the bills are taken out, we only have $370 left, because it all comes to $1,000. Here we have like almost $1,000 left. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to move my Christmas savings up here so that it evens out a little bit better. So we're gonna just exit that, or exit, I'm so used to working on computers. So I'm gonna write Christmas up here, 250. And so we're gonna add $395 plus $250, $645. And then down here, we're going to subtract 1,000 minus 250, leaves us with 750. Okay, that looks a lot better. I feel a lot better about that. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to divide our house payment, which is $720. We're gonna divide that into 4 separate payments and see how much we come out with. 720 divided by 4, 180. So we have to take out $180 in every paycheck. Our house payment is one of those that is a giant payment, and so we have to split it up and divide it throughout the month or it will not get paid, I promise you that. So we've kind of just disciplined ourselves to split it up. We have a separate banking account for just the house payment to come out of. For one, so we don't touch the money, and two, because it takes them a little bit to get the money out of the account. It's not like an overnight thing. It's usually like 3 or 4 days. And so instead of watching our normal bank account, we just kind of make the payment, we let it go, and I'll check it in about a week or so and just make sure that it came out. And that seems to work for us. So that's a little tip if you're having a problem making your house payment or really any other big payment that you have. Get a separate bank account and just throw all the money in there for it. So all the numbers here are looking good to me just visually. So I'm going to go ahead and write down our groceries. So we have budgeted $140 each week for groceries. This budget used to be $100 and then it went up to $120 and now it's up to $140 because prices are inflating and I'm having a hard time keeping it at $100 or even $120. Also, our grocery budget that includes all of our household items as well. So like laundry soap, toilet paper, things like that. I factor that all into our grocery budget and I'm pretty successful staying under budget most weeks. So we're gonna go ahead and write down our groceries. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do some more math here. Okay, so the last thing that we have to budget for is our oil changes. So my oil change is about $60 and my husband's is about $60 as well. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna budget for our oil changes out of our bigger weeks. So he'll get an oil change on the 6th and I'll get one on the 20th. Where am I gonna put this? Let me just do this. Okay, so we're gonna do some more math here. 965 plus 60, 1025. Okay, we're done with that, done with that, done with that one. 1070 plus 60, 1130. So we're done with that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out how much money we have left out of every paycheck, so we know how much money we're gonna be putting towards our emergency fund this month. Okay, so now that I figured out how much we have left, I'm gonna go ahead and add everything up. $750. That's a pretty good chunk of money to put back in our emergency fund, considering that we didn't spend that much. So there's our budget for August. I think it looks pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with it. I did want to show you guys what my budget looks like after everything is all said and done. This is not the final one, but I wanted to go ahead and print it for you so that you could see what I do. After everything's done, I just go on Google Docs, I make a table, and I put exactly what I put on the paper. It just looks a little bit better. And so what I do is I use the highlighter system. So anything that I'm gonna have to pay in cash, I will highlight in green usually. Anything that I have to pay with a check, which is usually the water bill, I'll highlight in orange usually. Anything on auto pay, I will highlight in blue. Anything that I need to transfer, so our house payment, we have to transfer that money. Anything that is scheduled payments, which I actually don't think I have any scheduled payments anymore. The only payment that was scheduled was our previous personal loan, and we don't have that anymore. So I don't think I'll even have that anymore. And then need to pay is something that I have to physically go in and either pay online or go to the store and actually make that bill payment. So like Liam's haircut, I will have to need to pay that. Okay, so that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.